So once you've set up URL authorization to grant users access to certain parts of your app, different pages, you might want to also trim your security sitemap by adding roles to it. There's an optional attribute that you can put on any sitemap node. It's a role restriction that says only admins should see this node in the sitemap. And this is really useful. If you just go ahead and do that and add that attribute everywhere you need it, you'll find that nothing will happen. You have to do one more thing. You actually have to tweak your config file to say you want security trimming enabled. And this is easy enough to do. Let me show you how it works. So here I'm back in my application that I just showed in the last slide. What I'd like to do is trim my sitemap here so that, let's see, let's add roles equals doctor. Okay, you have to be in the doctor role in order to see the doctors only page in the sitemap. So let's see if that works. Let me go and go to my roles demo here, and let's see. I'm a member of nurse. I'm not a member of doctor, but yet I can still see this page. So this requires the tweak to your config file that I mentioned earlier. If you go into your config file, you're going to need to add under system.web. You're going to need to add a section called sitemap, and underneath that you're going to need to put some providers in there. You're going to need to basically override. You're going to turn on a feature called security trimming. Let me remind myself what that looks like. It's security trimming enabled. That's what we need to turn on. So the trick to figuring out how to do this is to go and I usually just bring up a command prompt and just bring up Windows, Microsoft.NET, framework, version, go to version 2, config, and just grab the root web.config file. Because what you're going to do is just grab the sitemap provider, the default sitemap provider, and just redeclare it with that feature enabled. So let's do a search for sitemap. We find that guy in there. There's the default provider. It's just one. So once we've got that copied, can jump back out over here and just throw that in. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and clear the old providers out, the one that I inherited, and re-add it. Let me clean this up a little bit so you can actually see what it's doing here. Okay, and that's it. I just need to turn on security trimming enabled equals true. Okay, and once I do that, if I go back and recompile my app, just refresh it here. Now you'll notice that, let me just log out and log in as Alice. Alice is a doctor. Notice that there's a little arrow there by the home, and I can see doctor's page, and I can surf to it. Everything's good. If I log back out and log in as Keith now, you'll notice I don't get the arrow anymore because my sitemap has been trimmed. I'm not a doctor. I can't see that node. So I can go to the home page. Notice that this isn't stopping me from going to doctors only, right? The only reason I can't get to doctors only, well, let me refresh that because it's in cache. The only reason why I can't get to doctors only is because of the authorization section. So, it's really important to set this up first, right? Protect doctors only with URL authorization, and then start thinking about trimming your trimming your sitemap so that users don't see links that they can click on but they just can't get to.